Mike Shue, middays at WAAF. This is Mr. Mark Tremonti from Alter Bridge and Creed and soon to be Solo, I guess, but we can talk about that in a little bit. And we're going to do a vinyl dump with Mark here, and I've read a bunch of interviews, some of the stuff that you like to listen to. First of all, did you start off listening to records, or were you a CD kid or a cassette guy?
My older brothers were into records, and then by the time I started buying, it was tape time.
Yeah.
So
I bought a lot of tapes. I was like, wave of the future.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't even know where those are. But I brought out some vinyl from stuff that I read in some interviews that you had mentioned, and I'm going to start with Led Zeppelin here, Physical Graffiti. This is the original copy I got in high school.
Nice.
I always liked this because you could spend hours just looking at the design, going through the pictures, and trying to figure out what they all mean.
That's what you don't get nowadays. You know, you don't get the big, nice artwork like that.
Yeah, you don't have that. I always thought that a record was a listening experience where you'd sit with the record and you only had about, what, 15, 20 minutes aside, so you couldn't really do anything else, but you sat and you kind of studied the artwork. And I always thought this is my favorite Zeppelin album because it pretty much showed everything that they were capable of, especially Jimmy Page. He's a song like, say, 10 Years Gone, where there's like a dozen different guitar sounds in here. And was he a big influence on your playing?
I think later on in my playing, I liked Zeppelin a lot because when I was young, I was into speed metal.
Well, since you mentioned speed metal, I do have a fresh reissue copy here of Metallica's Ride the Lightning. Right here. This was my first exposure to Metallica. Hearing For Whom the Bell Tolls on the radio. It was WAAF, as a matter of fact, the first time I heard them. Again, the listening experience, sitting here, and at the time this came out, it was so new, and there was nothing else like it out there. And just looking at these guys on the back, the pictures of the guys, especially Cliff. You look at Cliff and he's just out of control. So what was your first exposure to Metallica?
Master of Puppets, and then I bought Ride the Lightning, and I'm still to this day on the fence as to which one's better. I mean, I've spent countless hours listening to that record, so it's definitely one of my top 10 records of all time.
Cool. All right. And then I grabbed my favorite Van Halen album, Women and Children First. Again, This is where I thought the band was at their peak, where the drugs haven't really damaged them at that point. And, again, kind of like Physical Graffiti, it kind of showed what the band can do. And you know, Eddie Van Halen. Really, what can you say about him? You know?
Oh yeah, Eddie's insane. He definitely redefined what you can do with the guitar when he came out.
And then I don't know if he was a big influence on you. He was a huge influence on me. Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? This is an original copy that I received as a gift, I think, when I was 4.
Wow.
Yeah, see the writing on there. I like to make it my own. But yeah, Mr. Rogers, fantastic. More of a piano guy, though, I guess you could say.
Yeah. You know, I was more of a Sesame Street guy.
Right.
Maybe even Electric Factory, but Mr. Rogers was always, he was on the weekends. Yeah.
Well, he had Joe Negri. He would come by and bring the various instruments and turn you on. He'd put on his sneakers. They did little jam sessions. So, yeah, this is really great on vinyl. It really brings out the warmth of Mr. Rogers' voice.
Absolutely. Gotta have it on vinyl.
Excellent.
WAAF.com.